I tell you without mincing words, the 5 people who are contesting, wanting to be flag bearers, are just Sankwas compared to those. I call them the Sankwas 5. If President Mahama should decide to contest, this is how the scale will be. All the Sankwas 5, Dr. Baumia, Honorable Kennedy Japan, Dr. Brian Champong, Edichum, Honorable Kwabneje, all 5 of them should not even go and choose one. It should be all 5 of them on one ballot paper against President Mahama. And this is how the scale will be. All of them there, and then Mahama here.
Abusia Asuom Kontihene awono ene mrewasa hene nana Boadi Amponim Oboadie III akyerese NPP 5 presidential aspirants no munyina wo ye Sankwas na sankrofo no mu ye de munyina to ballot paper so na ye de mugina His Excellency John Mahama ade a obeyi munyina ti kwa hwefom and was chin so akyerese Dr. Baumia ohoi oyobi ansese na nibre kra so obesan akobi efi se oni hwe a wo betumi aka kire Ghana man ama o magina tumu ato aboma na enye ne yire a wo pese o ye first female slave queen first lady enka onyini se Dr. Baumia obe na adwen kra so obekobi enu achi nso no wo dia futu amane General Mosquito NDC amanyoko no mo chairman Ira Johnson Asiedu Nketiah achese Johnson Asiedu Nketiah sisi a no wa be ye fie pani na se akonwa to a fie pani anasa busua pani umpribi fi se uko pribi a wanhwani ya na abeye ne ngwase enti obetimi a wontwe na adwen sense ho na nienti ama wo kasa nyina ne se ene 7th December 2025 ni afe pepepe a oman Ghana yakwa abato na yeyi omampani His Excellency John Mahama enti ne nam so ama wopani wo kasa busua ha ye Ghana News TV media na nasifa bobo eso se ne ndedi kan aba hwemi anu subscribe no share video enso dia mame na sanso na download lemprice si a no mo cheska na efasa akonya enso no watimi enjoy sika na mo chen 1% na so send diska fa so na kopem se bronya bekwa wie ya wo mo de be month fasa akonya enso na enjoy busia yenkwe inti opani se ne ode nsam no nyina atudwa no
1D 1F. I think that was also a good idea, but like many of the ideas that NPP comes with, implementation becomes the problem. Now, I am not talking about going for 1D, 1F. I mean 1D, 3 Fs. 1 district, 3 factories. Let's create jobs for our people. That will be the solution to all our problems. Look at Galamsey. Just in 2019, around October 7th, thereabout, Graphic Online did a report and said that about 5 million people are into illegal mining sector. Namos is doing its best. But tell me, can they fill the prisons with 5 million people? Or even a few 100,000 people? The prisons are already full. And we don't just want to go along with arresting our youth. I'm not saying it's not a good thing. What they're doing is the best at the moment. But we can't fill our prisons with the youthful muzzle of our youth, rather than give them jobs which will make this country greater than what it is. When we have jobs, whatever we put into creating jobs will more than double in the shortest possible time. Because the factories will generate enough for export. We will have a lot from foreign exchange from the exports. Even the workers can pay taxes by way of pay as you earn. The opportunities are endless. There will be a lot of development all across all the districts. Our brothers and sisters won't travel from very far and wide to come to Accra and Kumasi just in search of jobs, because there will be jobs around where they live. So the rural-urban drift would cease. I believe creating jobs is what we need to tackle now. And I hope that this gets done. Invest so much money into it. Get the other people involved, anybody that has plans of coming on board, and let's create jobs for the youth. Now, let me come to your question about wanting President Mahama to go for a third term. Like I said, he was the Moses that needed to come and save the Israelites from the slavery and from the oppression, from the tyrannical rule, the kleptocracy of President Akufo-Addo. And I have just enumerated within 1 year what he has been able to do. I'm sure that if we give him the chance, the sky will be the limit. You see, this man has been vilified. They have gone as far as they could through propaganda just to tarnish whatever image he had. But as Matthew 15:16 said, you cannot light a lamp and put it under a bushel basket. That light will come out and it will defeat the darkness. So you see, he is the light that has come out. Look at the love that the people have for him. Look at what happened when he went to inspect the Ofankor to Sawam Road, and how children and the elderly and everybody was singing praises. It's as if it was a campaign platform. Look at the international scene. After his UN address, and Nigerians, 230 million Nigerians were saying they wished President Mahama was their president. You see, when God blesses you, let me put it in the way that we all know. Who Jah bless? No one cares. Yes, I wish he could continue. It's painful that he has said he would not contest. A lot of traditional rulers and opinion leaders, sheikhs and imams, and even pastors I have spoken to, have agreed that maybe we should petition Otumfuo, so that just as he did the last time round and made him come again the second time, and he will do us that favor and talk to him so that he can come again. You see, the NPP that we knew, the new patriotic party, those people, the men of ideal and integrity, those that sought to hoist the flag of Ghana with patriotism, are not the group we have today. Look, the NPP of Darocha, Sakiskek, Victor Owusu, Kofi Buzia, Professor Edubuahen, Alajete, J.A. Kufuor, those men of value, those men of integrity are not what we have today. I tell you without mincing words, the 5 people who are contesting, wanting to be flag bearers, are just Sankwas compared to those. I call them the Sankwas 5. If President Mahama should decide to contest, this is how the scale will be. All the Sankwas 5, Dr. Baumia, Honorable Kennedy Japan, Dr. Brian Champong, Aduchum, Honorable Kwabena, all 5 of them should not even go and choose one. It should be all 5 of them on one ballot paper against President Mahama. And this is how the scale will be. All of them there, and then Mahama here. You see, let me take it one by one so it makes more sense. Dr. Baumia, he came, he made all the noises possible. He claimed he was the economic messiah. He gave lectures after lectures, told us how he had worked at Bank of Ghana and other international organizations. And then when he got given the chance, what happened? Inflation, unemployment, debt stock, balance of payments, import bill, foreign reserve, they were all facing the wrong side. Look, I have arrested the CD. He's been locked up and the key is with the IGP. Only for the CD to break jail, grow wings, and fly out from 4 cedis to $1 to about 17 cedis when he left office. You see, you know, we all like the game of football. And a few times we get familiar with the so-called player who will be on the touchline. He will make all the noise, point out all the mistakes. Oh, you should have passed. Oh, you should have headed rather than chest. Oh, you should shoot. And then the coach decides that, okay, looks like you are good. Come on. And then he comes on. And then the opponent starts giving him sulia. And even when there is a stable ball and an empty net, and he has to just shoot it in, and he just kicks the air and leaves the ball there. That's Ampahon. And then the people, the players and the coach, they get fed up. And then they send him back to the touchlines. You see, when that person starts making noise again, don't you think people will think there's something wrong with him? Maybe he's just an empty barrel, just fond of making noise, just noise. What is there for Dr. Belmoya to prove now? Does he still think the fundamentals are weak? You see, people must genuinely want to be president, not just because of the power, the privilege, or the opportunity to steal, but a genuine feeling, demonstrable feeling that they can do better than the incumbent president, the incumbent government administration. That is what should prompt people. I'm very sure that Dr. Bawumia himself would have gone and sat somewhere quietly if it wasn't for the wife who wants to be a first lady rather so very badly. I think the wife's ambition overshadows his own. As a matter of fact, if Dr. Bawumia becomes president, he will be the third person in control. I think so. I think the first person in charge of the actual country will be President Akufo-Addo and his Gabi Otridaku and co. They will actually be in charge. And then the second person will be, of course, his wife, who will be our first slave queen lady. And before it comes to Dr. Bawumia himself. Look, when you have done enough, you see, you should know when your time is up, especially as he's been given the chance. Then let's go to Honorable Kennedy Akompre-Akon, Japan. You see, a vote for Kennedy Japan to become president is a vote for irresponsibility and incivility. It will send the wrong signal, the wrong doctrine, the wrong teaching to the young ones. It will tell them that all you need to become a president in this country called Ghana is to be the most insulting, the most vulgar. Grab all the contracts you can and the allegations that you don't do those contracts and then you keep the money and boast, brag that you are the richest person, then you can become a president. That is not right. That is against our tradition and our morals. As we speak, the most ungentlemanly politician in this country called Ghana wants to be the first gentleman of the land. You see the bitter irony? It's paradoxical. It cannot happen. It just cannot happen. Well, this is not America. American children can insult their parents. I'm sure in Ghana you dare not. And so we must not encourage this. We shouldn't. You see, at some point in time, some of us were wondering why Honorable Ken Ofori-Atta will not fight and be given a ministerial position.
What I say, this is gungulum 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 gung. This is Ghana News TV. The time is 6 o'clock. Let me follow Ghana.
So send this cafe amanoni aba Africa ha. You slam fight. Say ye fear wo pese won tono. You slam fight. E dan ya na say japade a wani da so a wo pese oto Africa ha no. You slam fight. So wo send this sika ama odofo e de aboa no Africa ha. You slam fight. Sanso e na say wo tie obi school fees ama no a. You see Lemfi. Yenti a make come for Lemfi ama on say. Utimi send this car efa Lemfi so a e money begu bank account me sanso e na timi begu mobile money account me. Eno achi nso no de bia Lemfi e wo daily rate a e ma hu sika dodo a wo send a wo benya. Lemfi e secured. Na wo send this car enche na nipa wo send ama no no ne nsa aka. Lemfi wo USA, Canada, UK, Italy, Germany, Ireland, Netherlands, Spain, Belgium, Portugal, and France. What the Lemfi send this car? Untiare, Boadi use me code NEWS News. Na say any day they can register or Lemfi so unya bonus. Sanso and use to chance so ye wo bonuses ahodwa ye dema.
And you know the information we had was that he was scared of what the vetting committee would uncover, unearth around him. So many secrets he has in his closet would come out, and that will bring a lot of embarrassment and shame. So he would not even go there at all. So trying to become president is one way of passing through the back door, because nobody will really actually vet him and put the questions to him face to face. He only has to campaign, throw some money around, and if he gets the chance, he is president. But like I said, people must not just want to be president because of the unlimited power, the prestige, the privilege, and the opportunity to steal. It must be with the proven record that he can do better than the current administration. At the moment, who among them can? Then we go to Brian Achampon, Dr. Brian Achampon. Was it not the same man at the center of the mass shootings, the violence, the attempted murders at Ayawaso West Wagon by-election when he was Minister in State of National Security? Was it not? The last time I heard, he denied that he had anything to do with what happened there, though he was the Minister for National Security. That in itself, that admission in itself disqualifies him. That means that that small unit of national security you couldn't handle. How can you handle the whole Ghana Army, the armed forces, the Navy, the police? You just can't handle that small section that you were given. Was it not the same person who wanted to buy state property at just a fraction of its real price? Such selfish person.
Wasn't he a businessman?
Businessman? Look, let him bring his business-mindedness to rule Ghanaians. And then you realize that we'll wake up one morning and all our state enterprises will be signed off to him and his company. And if you dare challenge, he will set the national security to brutalize you. Is that the sort of person you want as president? No. He stood somewhere and insinuated that even if they lost, they would never yield power to the NDC. We all heard it. That is not a president material. Then we go to Professor Duchum, whose only claim to power was that he was a minister of education. The worst minister of education. Under him, the curriculum was changed, but they had not foreknowledge that they needed to provide textbooks to teach the new curriculum. Look at what's happening today. WASSCE results. And they think it's just because it started this year. You make a whole group go through all the education for about 5 years without the right textbooks. When a good government comes and the children are being tested properly in the way they should and they fail, whose fault is it? This same man, under him, SHS feeding, the food that they got, even his dogs would not eat that food. And he thinks he's the best man to lead Ghanaians. And then let's go to Honorable Kwabena Japan. Not too much, except that his arrogance and incompetence resulted in President Kufuor sacking him as press secretary. And the same arrogance and incompetence resulted him in being sacked as general secretary. And now he thinks the same arrogance and incompetence is what's going to push him to be the leader of government in Ghana. No way. So you see, all 5 of them could be on one ballot paper, standing for NPP. And President Mahama, if he were to contest, would have gotten 80% and not even 20% for all 5 of them. The NPP should actually sit back, groom people of intelligence, people who are not selfish, people who can actually deliver for them, just like their forebears. Because even if you were at the opposition or opposing side, you would still recognize that those men who formed New Patriotic Party, remember the name, the word is patriotic, not this selfish lot who come with an agenda to loot. They should groom people. They are even better off sitting out 2028. Groom somebody. Maybe somebody like Patrick Boama has shown a few glimpses of honesty and some wisdom. People like him and others can be groomed. But anybody that had anything to do with Nana Akufo-Addo and Bawumia administration should just be jettisoned out of the party. Should not have any position at all. You see, I mentioned that name not just because I think he will be a good material for us. For me, as in a beautiful game of football, it is always best enjoyed when you have both teams prepare and perform at their best. Democracy thrives when the opposition is strong, when the opposition prefers alternatives, they are the shadow government. You see, the old chasano in Nimsen Chia. So, when you have an opposition who is as blind as a bat, standing behind it, that you think you are going the straight line, is that possible? We mean good for Ghana. If they bring good opposition, people of integrity, at least they will give us a good run, a good competition to choose the best person to run the country. Yes, President Mahama should, if he can, stand, and I'm sure the whole of Ghana will be behind him. But if he doesn't stand, I will be happy. I will be happy because to give him the opportunity to come for a third time insinuates that we can give the same opportunity to one Nana Akufo-Addo to also come for a third time. Tofiakwa. I cringe at the thought of that. So if it's just because of that, then I'll be happy he doesn't come. And if he doesn't come, NDC, we have men of valor, men of value, men of intrepidity, men who are ready to step into the floodlight, take the baton and run with it. Under accountability, good governance, selflessness, and love for Mother Ghana. Look, let me mention Dr. Atuforsen. The young man has a good head on his shoulders. Determined. Wherever you put him, he will work. You see, when fate dealt us the red card, and he became both our goalkeeper and our top striker, nobody thought he could handle that. But he has done incredibly. Look at what he has done to the economy. 2 crucial, critical ministries under one person. One young shoulder. And he's performed so very well. We have the man. Look at our chief of staff. The best chief of staff we have had in Ghana, if you ask me. I call him the humble lion. So level-headed. Your typical example of a leader. We have the man. Look at Haruna Idrisu. Honorable. Utility player. Wherever you put him, he performs. Success driven. We have the man. Look, when they start talking about money, and I have money, and Kennedy Japan, and Brian Asampon, and Dr. Baumia, and I bought this for the party, and I did this, I laugh. If because of money, we will bring in Ibrahim Mahama. He is more wealthy. He is more handsome than them. He is well respected. He is level-headed. He is more patriotic. Yes, we have the man. Look at General Asiedu Nketiah. As fine a politician as the seasoned finest of wines. He knows politics like the back of his hands. Indefatigable. He thrives under duress, under pressure. We have the men and the women too. I could go on and on and on. But lest I forget, You know me, I say it as it is. I would plead with General Asiedu Nketiah. And this is my humble plea, my opinion. I wish he doesn't contest for the flag bearership. I wish. Why do I say that? Ever since the passing on of His Excellency President Rawlings, General Asiedu Nketiah has become our Abusuapeni. And as an Abusuapeni, se ahinkonya etwa na apere ne ba Abusuapeni anhwe ye no okopre bia abusuane timibo. He should be that center pillar that can hold the periphery. If President Mahama doesn't contest, there will be a lot of scramble. And 2028 can only be lost by the NDC if the NDC chooses to lose it. And I wish he will be that gel which will pull all the scrambled parts together. He can remain as the general, as the chairman, because I doubt if anybody can dare contest and overcome him anyway. And by so doing, be the institution or the head of that institution that can bring that togetherness that we need after the scramble. Quite honestly, if he should run and lose, it will be almost a political suicide. But he's too valuable to be lost that way. So I would beg him to reconsider. Of course, if he decides to go, we will all still be with him and campaign when he wins, with him, by him, and for him, because NDC is the ultimate winner and Ghana will be the ultimate winner. But that is just my humble plea. So yes, we do have the men, and I'm very sure that if the president doesn't contest, the men will take the baton and make us proud. There's this little issue that I must add, and that has to do with the issue of the constitutionality of President Mahama coming a third term. I've heard many voices, and one of them being Okatechie, saying that, and even calling him Idi Amin, because he thought it would be unconstitutional and a whole lot. No, he's misinforming the public. You see, President Mahama would just not stand up and say, oh, I am a president again for the third term, and just usurp that power. It cannot be possible. He has to go through a process. And the process is guided by the Constitution. First and foremost, there should be a referendum. When you mention referendum, a lot of people are being indoctrinated to think that it is a bad word, that it's an unconstitutional word. But they forget that the 1992 Constitution in itself came into being by virtue of a referendum on the 28th of February, 28th of April, 1992. We've had referendums in this country. The first was the British Togoland plebiscite of 1956. We had the 1960 Ghanaian constitutional referendum the 1964 Ghanaian constitutional referendum, the 1978 Ghanaian constitutional referendum, the 1992 Ghanaian constitutional referendum. So you see, the word actually is a prolonged one, Ghanaian constitutional referendum. So it doesn't look like an unconstitutional endeavor. And you know, the processes of a referendum are quite cumbersome. It's not that simple. First and foremost, we must have 50% of all eligible voters casting their vote. If 49.99% cast their vote is cancelled, it will not be allowed. Out of the 50%, the question being posed must have at least 80%. So it's not just as simple as people think. 80% of the people who vote must actually vote yes for the question. For instance, if the question is that, can a president go for a third term? Answer yes or no. The yes must be more than 80%. That is not an easy feat to overcome. And it just doesn't end there. Even after he's won from the referendum, it doesn't make him president. He has to still go through the primaries at his party, become the flag bearer, and contest in a general election together with all the other political parties' flag bearers before he can become a president again. So we need to remember all this. If President Mahama thinks it's too much, he's done his bit, and so he cannot continue, I understand him, because it's quite a stressful journey. But I still wish that he could, if he has the energy, because he has the good heart, and he is the chosen one to take Ghana from that term of being underdeveloped to a developed Ghana, maybe the first black country to be called developed. President Mahama would have taken us there.
So send this cafe amanoni aba Africa ha Usulem fi say ye fear wo pese wo ntono Usulem fi edan ya na say japade a wani da so a wo pese oto Africa ha no Usulem fi say wo send this sika ama odofo e de aboa no wo Africa ha Usulem fi sanso e na say wo tie obi school fees ama no a Usulem fi yenti amekanfo lem fi ama one say utimi send this sika e fa lem fi so a e ma ne begu bank account mu sanso e na timi begu mobile money account mu eno achi nso no de bia lemfi e wo daily rate a e ma hu sika dodo a wo send a wo benya lemfi e secured na wo send this car enche na nipa wo send ama no no ne nsaka lemfi wo USA, Canada, UK, Italy, Germany, Ireland, Netherlands, Spain, Belgium, Portugal and France. What the lemfi send this car untu ahwe bomodi a dey use me code NEWS news na say ene any day di kan o register o lemfi so a unya o bonus sanso e na use chen so a ye wo bonuses ahodo a ye de ma
menu makwekwe sa sempa kania se menam na meti asempa na mo amane a na ma no keka me anyam bia wate ANS Trading Agency Limited nka se wo ka se door to door for no de na watwa esanse obie ne wa say wo was door to door business nim wo nyoma wo UK a wo de ko Ghana ana se Germany a wo de ko Ghana 3 to 5 weeks e be kwa kodu nipa ne punu anu say try na de mo demonstration ko se adwuma de ewe mu ne se wo ho bo no e da form say boko ANS Trading Agency Limited e wo air freight special service and on nyoma ne ye de be fa play entintempa na akwa Obetima for South Africa, we also the new free Ghana, Aqua UK, and Germany. FAGG them, which is also a year, I mean drop a bomb. ANS Trading Agency Limited pair, and a 40-footer, any 20-footer container. FA UK, Edico Ghana, and Germany, Edico Ghana. Oma Manio Mayame, Importo, Exporto, them there for you. Omo Ghana Namani, 0249 170 423. UK has over Freya 0790 802 7527. Germany nso 09173 771 2733. Wobenya A&S Trading Agency Limited. Our West Croydon A&S Trading Agency Limited. Quantum Brantem. Wana bebo ya baso. Maybe next time in your fill up from the bebro.